Hello and welcome. I'm Keegan Hirst and this is the Hirst Locker, the podcast for men who want to build an incredible body, a rock-solid mindset and unstoppable confidence. It's for men who want to live life on their terms and live it to their full potential. I've helped hundreds of men transform their lives, giving them the knowledge, the tools and the self-belief to help them smash through the glass ceiling that stopped them from achieving their dreams. And I want to do the same for you. Now we're going to focus on physical, mental and emotional health, things that affect us as gay men so that we can live life on our terms, build the body that we want and feel confident living that life. I'm going to help you cut through the noise and confusion to give you the confidence and clarity to take action and build the best version of yourself, to give you complete control of your body, your mindset, your habits and ultimately your life. So let's get to it. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Hirst Locker with me, Keegan Hirst. I am joined today by my good friend, Kirk Miller, coach sensation, ex-professional footballer.
Semi-failed.
Played for Coventry City, turned down Manchester United when they were actually good. We'll get on to that. 2010 men's health cover model competition winner.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, got a few covers off the back of that. The only person to get 2 covers off the back of that.
Yep.
He is the most featured men's fitness cover model on the planet. I mean, look at that jawline. Of course he is.
I'm still fighting my age. I'm touching nearly 40 now, so I'm still living off the...
Yeah, hanging on there, mate. You're hanging on. He is the founder of the Built to Last program, which is an incredible coaching program, which we're going to come on to, that I've been privileged to be a part of. And he is ripped all year round. He's in fantastic shape and he can drink Cafe Patron with the best of them. Kirk Miller, everybody. Welcome to the Hirst Locker,
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Just for your information, anyone listening to this and watching this back, when he refers to drinking Cafe Patron, I was doing that with Keegan Hirst. Let's not get a vote about it. We were in, was it Blah in Dubai? Yeah. When typically, 50% of people have gone home and me and Keegan continue to carry the party on and did a PB in Cafe Patron.
We did do it.
We've got a video at some point that may come out just showing some horrendous...
Yeah, I don't know if that's for maybe public viewing.
Exactly.
No, thank you for coming on, mate. Really good to have you. Kirk is a very good friend of mine. Kirk has been my coach, he's been a bit of a mentor, he's been a training partner. So it's really good to have you on, mate. You've got an amazing story, an amazing coaching program, community. Just want to delve in a little bit now. I've just reeled off all your accolades there, like you're in a really good spot now. Where did it all start?
It all started very similar to yourself, Keegs. Obviously this is maybe why I firmly believe that Vibe Attraction Tribe. I, like Keegan, originate from a Coventry council estate. 2 council estates actually, but Stoke Aldermore in Coventry. For any Coventry listeners listening to this, they'll understand Stoke Aldermore is a bit rough and ready. Extremely proud of my upbringing, Coventry council estate background. The original dream very, very early was to be a footballer, but what preceded that was, I suppose the first sign of adversity is as a kid. I woke up at the age of 3, been able to move my legs, weirdly. I had like a weird form of arthritis, Keys, where my knees, I couldn't move, couldn't move out of my bed. And it was, it's weird how, we speak a lot about your past and how you only remember significant moments. And it was only when I divulged into personal development that you start to remember reasons why the way you think that you are. And my first sort of, I suppose, emotional trauma, even at the age of 3, was, I can still picture it now, in a bed. Like I say, my mum and dad little council estate flat in Stoke Aldermore, couldn't move my legs and think what's going on. And I remember for 3 years I was in that thing called Plaster and Parish, where it was like, I suppose in a way it's like being like Forrest Gump, it's maybe why I had such skinny legs as a kid, and then you build them up. But probably why I'm so obsessed now with having muscly arse and muscly legs. Do you know what I mean? And then
I do you know what, man? I know how important this part of your life is to you, because obviously a lot of people won't be privy to this, but I've got your WhatsApp, I've got your number and your picture on your WhatsApp.
Is Explain that, 100%.
It's you running on a track, isn't it? When you've been told that you won't ever run again.
Yeah, and that's exactly that. So look, I will try and keep this story tight, because like you just said, Keith, it's played a massive part in in who I am, how I think, and also why I'm so passionate about helping people overcome adversity and violate limiting beliefs and stuff. Because from the age of 3 to 6, in and out of hospital. I always remember going to hospital with my mum, and you'd been in plaster and parish for a break. Obviously, you've got dodgy knees. You come back, same again. And I remember being told at the age of 6. I saw this specialist. I still picture it now. This guy, he's got glasses, got a Polish guy. You think, how the fuck do you remember this? 33 years ago. And I'm at peace with it now. Because I understand why that had to happen in order for me to become a certain person. But I remember him saying, like, the only sport you'd ever do is swim. He knew I fucking hated swimming. Right? The only sport I wanted to do was football. I was obsessed with football. And I look back even now, Keith, like, why was I so obsessed with football? Because my dad loved football. My dad loved Man United. I didn't see my dad too much other than because he was working so hard. My mum and dad worked their ass off. Dad didn't drive a car till he was in his early 30s, so it was very much work the overtime. And so any time I heard my dad, he loved football. And my way of getting love and connection with my dad was football and him see me kick a ball. So when you get told at the age of 6, when this guy knows you love football, the only sport you can do is swim. I remember breaking down in that room with my mum sat next to me and crying. I decided in my mind I'm going to prove that guy wrong. Now, as we'll come on to through my story, that was great from a sporting, winning, drive, perseverance perspective, but it was actually sabotaging other aspects of my life. So elaborate on it. But the reason I have that picture on my WhatsApp, as Keegan shared, is it just really reminds me of your biggest superpower. That if I apply my mind to anything, and this is what I try and install in anyone I coach, love, and care about, that it doesn't matter what someone says to you, that you can't overcome that. So literally a year after that, especially said that picture on my WhatsApp. Me raising my hand in a little Man United kit and a pair of pumps, I think it is. I remember winning that 400 metre race by 100 metres, and it was just more. Not only did I absolutely violate what this guy said, but to do it in such emphatic fashion, I suppose. And then I suppose life was going super smooth at that point, Keegan. From the age of 6 to 16, and obviously to 19, 20, when eventually obviously got labelled by Coventry. My identity, I was attached to being a footballer. Even though I did pretty well at school, like yourself, my mum and dad were very strict, and I was the oldest child, so I was the one, I suppose, that they set the boundaries with. But my whole life was about football, around studying. I was obsessed, and I think naturally, and I suppose you were probably the same, Keith, when you actually got into rugby. You generally find when you're good at football, and I was very quick and very athletic, you're generally pretty good at other sports as well. So I was the kid at school from the age of 6 to 16 where I can probably count on 2 fingers how many races I lost in athletics and cross country. Not being arrogant saying this, just without even training for it. It's because I played that much football, ran around so much that you're just very good at it. So got picked up by Coventry at the age of 10. Quickly became one of the better players, and then as you touched on about turning down Man United, so I get picked up by Coventry at 10, and if you just said to me up to that point, who do you want to be and what do you want to do, and I said I want to be a Manchester United footballer, play for Manchester United, I want to be a footballer, that's who I am, right? And you have this moment at the age of 13. I had a Manchester United scout call my house, call my dad. And I remember not playing a pre-season tournament or something where we've been rumoured with Manchester United. So they'd obviously saw my enthusiasm of I'm talking about the players. And this is where Manchester United were good, by the way. So anyone listening to this is now probably thinking Man United is not too clever just now, right? But this is when Roy Keane, Cantona, Giggs, Beckham, they were winning everything. Right. So you've got this dream. So from the age of 3, 4, whenever my dad first put a Manchester United kit, right, you've got your dream in the palm of your hand, right? That works so hard. And you think most kids who love football at that stage, if you'd said, who do you want to play for with Man United? So there you have it, right? There's the option there. And then Coventry found out, Gordon Strachan turns up at the training ground, because I tried to keep it quiet, because back then, mate, I know things change, it might be different now, but when you are 13, you have, from the age of 14 to 16, you have to sign a 2-year schoolboy form before you go professional. And once you're locked in with that for that schoolboy form, you can't go anywhere. But basically, I would have had to wait maybe 6 months or something in order to join Manchester United. So I was trying to pat it down, going, I'm just going to wait till the end of the season to join Man United. Strachan found out, tried to lie to him. So he just said, look, you're not going anywhere. You signed for Coventry. We're going to offer you a professional contract. So at the age of 13, Keith, I got offered a professional contract, which is unheard of at the time, from Coventry. So I'm like, either take the uncomfortable option, the risky option that might go wrong, because I've only got 2 years at Coventry, Manchester United school. I got moved to Manchester, and that was a big deal back then, moving to Manchester, which is an hour and a half away from Coventry. We spoke about this, before, about an hour and a half, 2 hours deep down. Right now, me and you, that's nothing, right? But back then, I got to move around half the world.
For a 13-year-old kid as well, to move away from parents, contextualise it.
But I say it's that's like moving around half the world, and it's such a big deal, especially when our parents are loving to pieces. Like, they never really ventured too far, so that was a massive thing. I'd never been abroad or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, get offered a contract. The comfortable option is to sign for Coventry, which is what I did. And I made a story up for years, Keegan, that the only reason I didn't sign for Manchester United and sign for Coventry was because my mum said, "What about your studies? What about your schools? What if it goes wrong?" Right? Deep down, Kirk Miller from the council estate or two didn't believe he was good enough in that pivotal moment. Because the reality is that so-called safe option, just fast-tracking his story, is 7 years later, I get released by Gary McAllister in a 20-30 second conversation saying you're not good enough, we definitely think there's a place in the game, but not Coventry. So that was the first lesson in life, that the comfortable option is never guaranteed anyway, and it didn't work out for someone of my character. That was the first time in my life, even though up to that point, you're a kid at school, that's captain of every football team, you get your ass kissed, teachers love you because I generally worked pretty hard at school, you win in everything, good leader at school. And the first time in my life, I genuinely told I wasn't good enough at the age of 19, 20 with Gary McAllister, and I folded. I literally folded. Because I'd attached my whole identity to being a footballer, when deep down it was what I did, not who I was. And I didn't know what to do. So even though you did okay at school, and this is where we're aligned on certain things, is no one prepares you for, when you get told you're not good enough by a football team. And it wasn't just even about what to do professionally. You start questioning who you are, what's life all about. Do you know what I mean?
That what you said there about tying your identity to something. So many people, we see this as coaches, that so many people do that. They tie their identity to their job, and then they get something happens to their job. And somewhere, I did it with rugby. When I retired from rugby, I was like, God, who am I anymore? I'm not Keegan Hirst, a rugby player anymore. Or people do it with a relationship. I'm in a relationship with so and so, and then someone wakes up one morning and says, I don't want to be with you anymore, and all their world comes crashing down. And a lot of people attach their identities to exterior things, and as you said there, as soon as that's taken away, it
could be anything though, Keegan. I know this sounds pretty brutal, and my goal one day is to be a phenomenal parent like yourself, and I can't wait to be, fingers crossed, a phenomenal father one day. But I've also maintained to Gabs, like my partner, that I don't believe you can attach your whole identity to even your kids, because at some point your kids are going to want up and do their own thing. And so if you've attached your whole identity to your kids, when they're going to want to do what they want to do at the age of 13, you're trying to hang out with your mates. And
my mum absolutely fell to pieces when my brother got to like 18 and was ready. Suggest I moved out, my sister had moved out. She was climbing up the walls because she'd been a parent for however long, since what was 26 years at that point. So then for someone to say, and it took her a long time. I mean, we didn't speak for a long time, but it took her a long time to get over that. So it is so easy to attach your identity to something. And I know as a coach, you're really big on identity. I've never known another coach who has invested so much in their own education. I remember once speaking to Kirk about, and I was like, Kirk, you sound really groggy. He was like, I was doing a Brendan Bouchard course, and it was on American time, and you were in Dubai, and so you were doing it like through the middle of the night.
I didn't sleep for 3 days. Because basically, obviously, I might have said on previous episodes, of course, that of my own podcast, that I've done all these courses, but the one with Brendan Bouchard, I remember I was in Dubai, I just moved to Dubai, and the course was sort of like middle of the night, but it was I was just so passionate about learning about why we are who we do what we do.
Why we do what we do.
But I think that comes from the Keegan, and ultimately, and like we spoke about your superpowers, and obviously anyone who's listened or followed Keegan for a long time, generally speaking, your biggest obsession to master a certain area comes from a pain that you don't want anyone else to go through.
Avoid.
And if I think of like the reason why identity and violate limit beliefs is so big to me, Keegan, because I know what it's like not to believe in myself when it mattered. And up to that point, like I say, I'm a good-looking young boy. You know, you're fast, you're good at football, but you know, life, you've got good friends, all this shit. But it doesn't matter. If you're not truly at peace with who you are, and you don't believe yourself, it will let you down when it matters most. And even if you're a business owner, I don't care how much money you've got, how successful you are, if there's a crack in your identity, look, no one's got it perfect, but you have to be willing to continually expand it, or at some point it will cost you. Do you know what I mean? 100%.
And for you, like, just picking up on that, you, like, as you said, you're a good-looking guy, you're in good shape, you were football at the time. Then you went into, because I think this is a really interesting story, because there's a lot of people who might watch and go, you know, Kirk's always been in good shape, he's never struggled with. But that's only one aspect, isn't it? And for you to then, you went into the men's health competition.
Well, even just rewinding from that, Keegs, like, you know, the reason, like you say, people might be listening to this, or, you know, even if you check me out, oh yeah, he's got a good body, great business, all this stuff now, like, probably similar to Keegan, right? But I know what it's like to be ripped as fuck, but be terribly miserable, and still questioning my self-worth, still doubting myself internally with confidence, Keegan. You know, I know what it's like to be on record front covers and be in relationships where the moment there's cracks in the relationship and you feel like you're having to adapt your personality to fit in to make that work, or that person says something that's not necessarily nice about you or to you, are folded. And you start really questioning yourself, and the confidence disintegrates. So that's why I'm so passionate now. Like, I don't care how good you look, so it doesn't matter if you're not confident with how you feel when no one else is around. Do you know what I mean? It does not matter.
And that's something we're both passionate about as coaches, isn't it? It's not just the physical change.
No.
Because that's not going to be sustainable.
100%, which is why when any great coach, let me tell you this, I don't know if Keegan said this before in a previous podcast, any great coach who said you can change your fucking body and identity in 6 weeks, 12 weeks, after years of doubting yourself and lacking confidence, and especially if you've never been able to stay in 1 calendar year, as I say many times on my own story, like if you haven't been in shape for 1 calendar year in your life, or saw yourself and you look in the mirror, happy, content, you see yourself as that person, you ain't going to fix that in 6 to 12 weeks, believe me. Because sometimes when you've done a rapid drop in fat to change your body in a certain period of time, all you've done is you prove that you can diet and be in a calorie deficit and train hard for 6 to 12 weeks, as many as I've done before. Okay, that's great. But your emotional growth, your mental growth doesn't change at that pace.
It lags behind.
100%. And I've had transformations in the past and holding my hands up as a younger coach, and that's why we have to mature with these things. I've been the guy that's done the 8 weeks summer shreds and brilliant, hundreds of transformations for that model. But the reason a lot of these then didn't sustain that is because they didn't have the long enough period of time to change their beliefs, their mindset, their language patterns about how they see themselves, because that's the problem.
A big thing you talk about, I think that carries on nicely from that, you talk about blueprint, don't you? How we see how the world should be, how we see how we fit into the world. And so I think that's what you're talking about now, is that you can change your diet for 12 weeks, but you can't change your blueprint of how you've seen yourself. There's so many people, and I've done this in the past, where I've lost a lot of weight. When I first started getting in, took my appearance, a bit more seriously, rather than just training for the sake of training, was that it was, I still saw, even though on the outside I looked good, I had abs, which I suppose a lot of people would see as desirable, I still saw myself as a fat kid. I still saw myself as overweight, as not worth much. So for that to catch up, as you said, it takes work, it takes unpicking, it takes.
100%, and I think one of the most ruthless ways to evaluate where you're at, I'm on about really, really evaluate where you're at in terms of your confidence is, when you're in a good place where you've got a great body, right, and it's when you don't need external gratification to make you happy or believe you've actually in good shape. And if I look at, from 2010 on, Keegan, you know, when I won the men's health competition, all of a sudden I'm getting, you get sponsorships. I was with Grenade for a few years, then obviously the one of the main athletes at my pro team, travelling expos all around the world, like I say, record covers, all these different things. But at the exhibitions, I'm still relying on pictures and likes and all this bullshit to make me feel good.
And someone tell you to look good.
Exactly. But it's like going for that quick dopamine hit and like line of cocaine or that quick shot, you know, if that's what you feel you need, or porn or scrolling, like it's still, you're relying on that quick fix to make you feel good, or something else or someone else to make you feel good. And until you are at a place where, of course, everyone likes nice things being said about them, nice comments, of course I do, right? But I don't need them. Because the problem is when you attach yourself too much to that story of needing these things to make you feel good, whenever something goes wrong the other way, you'll fold. And that's deep down what I did in relationships, probably why I was so erratic and didn't push on as early as what I could have done maybe in business. Do you understand? You know, so you learn these things, and as I said, Keegan, like, you know, when I got let go by a Coventry, you then question what you need to do for, like, I'd still been in shape at that point. My security blanket and way of getting significance was still in the gym, because I hated what I was doing. For 6 years I was a plumber then, you know, but I'm still ripped. My only little dopamine hit of feeling good was in the hour at the gym after work, because every other aspect of my life was shit. Do you know what I mean? And then I'm getting fucked up with weekends. You know, but even when I won the men's health competition from that, so I was plumber for 6 years, won the men's health competition from the age of 27, quit my job, 5 hours personal training. So, like, just very quickly on that is, you know, at the age of 13, took the safe option, failed. Right, took the safe option, failed 7 years later at Coventry. Then I took another safe option, retrained as a gas engineer, plumber, because that's a job, you'll always have some money, always be able to pay your bills. But deep down I failed, and because at 5, 6 years, I wasn't, because it was so comfortable, I was seeking my reactive behaviour patterns at weekend. So then I had the third bite of the cherry when I won the men's health competition. That was the third lesson in life, and I'm a firm believer, if you listen to this, a lesson will keep repeating itself. A lesson will keep repeating itself until you do something different. It's not the insanity thing, isn't it? How can you expect anything to change if you doing the same?
Do what you've always done.
Exactly. There's so many great quotes out there, you know. And so that was my third test, and I remember you were telling me a story again about you know, your situation as well, Keegan. I remember when I was about to quit my job with 5 hours personal training, I remember saying to my mom, friends, I'm going to quit my job. I've just had enough. You know, at that point, enough's enough. I'm lying to myself here about what I'm on this earth to do, because deep down, Keegan, when I got let go by Coventry, I've always been destined to coach people. It's what I did. I mean, I think during that period for the plumbing years, Keegan, I was actually personal training without getting paid. Because whenever I was training with my pals in the gym, I'm always the big mouth leading the session. But I'm just not getting paid because it's with my friend, and I'm always encouraging in the gym. But I think the pain of rejection and not dealing with the fact it's the first time in my life I got told I weren't good enough. I didn't have the confidence to actually do what I know I should be doing. Do you understand? So, you know, 2010, that's when I first went. I linked into discomfort, and no shit, within 2 weeks, you got a full diary. You know, get paid top whack in Coventry, you're big fish in a small pond, and then personal training for a few years, mate, and then started winging my online. You know, didn't have a clue about business, but I knew I wanted to help more people. Didn't really know how to do it. But I'd still say, this is what I'm so passionate about mindset, as Keegan said, is I still knew, even though I was looking a certain way, because of, like, say, the cracks in previous relationships, and also needing that external gratification. And also, if you look at my social media, I should probably delete some of this stuff, but maybe I just want to stay congruent and so ruthlessly honest. If you look at my social media from a few years ago, every picture is fucking ripped with abs, because, you know, I needed that hit of, this is what I need to do to stay light. Whereas now, you know, okay, yes, me and Keegan are both in shape and stuff, but there has to be a bit more depth. If you're looking for a coach, if you're going to invest in a coach solely on how they look, of course they need to practice what they preach in some way, but honestly, there's an awful lot of people in that fitness industry, fitness models, so-called coaches, that either took excessive gear to stay in shape, or it's just been riddled with insecurity, or they've been in shape for 1 year of their life for a show, they're living on the back of these pictures, but they haven't got a fucking clue how to deal with emotions, mindset,
problem solving.
Yeah, exactly. Life management, relationship, or basically, and violate limited beliefs. Well, they haven't fucking violated their own, so how can they teach other people to do that? Do you understand? So, and then it evolved after a few years. I knew then something had to change. I got too comfortably in commentary, and that's what I'm really, really like in tune with now, Keegan. If I smell myself getting too comfortable, I just notice certain things happening here, and I get a little bit, I'm like drinking a little bit more, and then I knew then so I had to change, so I moved to London then.
So you've learned your lesson from avoiding discomfort to actively seeking it out.
100%. Yeah. And the thing is,
which sounds quite sadistic for someone who's maybe not done it before, but you said there about keeping moving forward, and you've gone from winning a men's, you've gone from that culture you just spoke about, it was just somebody with abs, to actually investing in.
I was a glamorised motivator, as we spoke about before. I was a guy, don't get me wrong, I'd be the loudest trainer in the gym and would say whatever needed, but even from a technical standpoint now, saying 1 more, 2 more, 3 more, if that's your personal trainer, he's a shit personal trainer, because he probably should say something more technical. But I didn't know how to manage people outside of those 3-4 hours in the gym, Keegan. Which is what you do, what I do now, is helping people what really matters, which is the stuff outside the gym. Because even if I'm training with Keegan Hirst or you're training with Kirk Miller for 7 hours a week, doesn't help you manage.
Yeah, no one's binging on Ben and Jerry's in the gym, are they?
No, right? Absolutely.
If you get into the gym, you get something, but it's the sleep management, stress management, food management, activity levels away from that. And the big one that I will keep coming back to that you are so good at is the mindset side of stuff, is the identity stuff. Because, there aren't many coaches in the world who will, and it's what I'm passionate about with coaching, is taking someone from A and getting them to B and making sure they stay at B.
It's making sure they believe it.
Yeah.
I say to my clients all the time, Keegan, say to someone, because we all have clients, right, who progress a bit quicker than others, right? Generally, they're the clients who maybe stuck to their food management guidelines, right? I don't really like the word diet, okay? But whatever strategy you're using to manage your food to look a certain way, me, Keegan, myself, we'd have clients who would progress a little bit quicker than the others if they've just proved that they can stick to a meal plan a bit quicker, maybe get with their sessions, get their steps in, be a bit more disciplined, basically. Okay? But that doesn't always make the best transformations long term.
No.
Because if they've accelerated dramatically physically, but they haven't saw themselves as that person in the mirror mentally, then one's going to be lagging behind, and they need to run in hand in some capacity. Because if you look at, my journey, Keegan, I've had abs now for fucking pretty much since I've been in the gym. It's not being arrogant saying that, and I'm also, I don't really train abs anymore, by the way, so you don't need to train abs for default.
And you eat and you drink.
Yeah, I do normal shit, as we've joked about. I still love drinking.
You are human.
Yeah, 100%, but I have discipline around that and a framework around that. Okay, but I'm a shining example of someone who has been shredded, right? Cover star and all that stuff, but I wasn't content, right? And I am someone now who preaches you can have abs. I don't advocate being shredded year round unless you have a desire to get a competition. It's not healthy. Being shredded from a place of self-sabotage where you are beating yourself up in the gym, unless you're a bodybuilder, right? Or there is some form of financial incentive for you to do that in the bigger picture. It's not worth it. But you can be in phenomenal shape year round. Have social balance, right? So. But yeah, I'm just so passionate about that, and I've just been obsessed, especially since moving to London, mate. That was a big eye opener for me, because when I moved to London, right, I moved there because I needed to challenge myself again, and as you just said, seek comfort. And I think anyone who might be listening to this, you might be attaching seek discomfort, based on the physique. Now, one thing I challenge that, if you're thinking, God, this is a bit heavy, what Kirk and Keegan are talking about in terms of seeking discomfort. If I was to ask you, tell me an area of life you truly excel at, and for a lot of you, it'd be your career, I can almost guarantee that in order to get to that level of status in your career, you would have gone through discomfort.
Yeah, you take on more.
Exactly. You've had to put a few more hours in at work, learn more, basically do stuff that other people, maybe who are in line with you to go to that position where at some point.
Do something that you've never done before.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what discomfort is.
That other people weren't prepared to do, hence why you may be earning more money now, or you're in a better level in your career. It's as simple as that. So, and my challenge, healthy challenge to all clients is, if you've done it in one area, and for many of my guys, like yourselves, Keegan, if you've been phenomenally successful, gone through blood, sweat and tears to be a phenomenal success in business or in your career status, in my opinion, that is significantly harder than building a great body.
Yeah.
Without question.
100%.
But I tell you why people follow through in their career, because it's money, it's freedom. They're truly aware of the consequences if they don't push through
Follow
it.
through, yeah.
And that's what you need to do when it comes to body, because if you demonstrated, if you have evidence the last 5 to 10 years that you can push through discomfort and expand your identity in your work, you can do it with your body.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
You know, but the benefit of moving to London, mate, when I moved to London was, obviously, I knew I needed a new environment. I didn't believe, with great respect to Coventry, sorry to anyone Coventry listening to this, didn't ever believe I was going to meet my princess in Coventry.
Yeah.
And I love going back to Coventry, you know what I mean? But things were far too comfortable for me there, and you know. But yeah, I wanted to test myself, you know, and I'm sure this is why you putting the rugby boots back on, right? And this is why we get onto what is, as this thing, when you cut from a certain cloth, and if you evaluate your life to date, you'll know if you're this type of person, and you go, right, tell me the moments in your life where you grew most and you had most enjoyment. For me, it's when you've tested yourself.
Yeah,
you've gone to another level, whether it's in sport, whether it's in business.
Absolutely.
So when I went to London, again, you're the small fish in a big pond. Again, went deep into personal training. Obviously a great mentor in Phil, of course, you know, when it comes to business, learn properly, how can we help more people? And but alongside the business development, mate, and learn to build a great business, and like yourself, build a great community and structure and all this sort of stuff. I sort of really evaluated about 4 or 5 years ago, how can I become more valuable as a coach? Now, my biggest passion is how can I articulate helping people with mindset more? Because I knew I had a natural gift, I believe. I've always been captain. I've always had a great gift, I believe, with
you can talk.
Yeah, I can talk, but I think a great captain, a great leader is knowing what to say at the right time, in the right tonality.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be one word, soft. Sometimes it might be a few sentences or a 2-minute rant, loud. But I just wanted to really understand it on a deeper level, you know, and that's why, again, just learning different courses and different mentors, you know, Tony Robbins and Brendan Bouchard, even just listening to this type of stuff, success leaves clues.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and but on the same breath, I think there's a lot of supposed NLP personal development gurus who are also full of shit as well, where they're drastically out of shape. So I think even though you might be able to say certain things and articulate beliefs and identity and...
Well, you just say that success is because you live a lifestyle that's incongruent with everything in every area, not just one part.
Exactly. They all work hand in hand. For me, you can't be a true mindset specialist if you're a physical sack of shit, because if you're overweight drastically and deep down you don't want to be, you're not healthy, somewhere along the line you have cracks in your emotional state and your behaviour and your ability to control your decisions if you are drastically overweight. So that's where I think you know they all work together.
Absolutely.
Even though, like you say, we articulate them slightly differently. The 3 pillars of my Built to Last programme, and sort of ethos is, Keegan, you know, I want to help everyone build a world-class body, and like yourself, it's relative to them. Yeah. It's basically just an exceptional standard that they've not been able to achieve before.
Yeah,
because every single person can, if you learn to train with intent, you do it properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you learn to recover, you do it properly. Like I say, we're not magic here. Like people, you know, you told me you didn't even do sport till you were 11, right? But you went on to be a professional rugby player, and you've been on covers as 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, an Abercrombie model, by the way.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I've had this down, and then people say about me, mate, genetics. Like, I love my family to pieces. My brother, my sister, my dad. They're all overweight.
Yeah.
Right? All overweight.
Yeah, all my
okay, my dad's got type 2 diabetes. Love him. Right? Would he choose to be type 2 diabetes? No, deep down, he just never had the education when it comes to his health and fitness, right? And so genetically, no one could say that, okay? My mum, she's got to have a hip replacement, back. She's never done strength. She's never been educated. She never saw the value in that by peer group. And this is why we'll come onto environment shortly, I'm sure. My brother, the same parents, you know, I ran around more as a kid, and granted I got into football and all this stuff, but deep down I valued exercise. Sister, again, struggles with the weight and stuff. So it's not genetic. So if you're listening to this, get a straight, you know, man, woman, dog. You know, if you do things properly, you can change.
100%.
But so 1 pillar is world-class body, superior mindset, and that might sound a bit like out there, but I just want to help people to feel unstoppable. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like no matter what situation they're in, they've got fucking minerals to push through it.
Yeah.
They've got perseverance, they've got staying power.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're a leader. I love working with leaders.
Yeah.
I'm inspired, and that's where...
Well, they say, don't the leaders create leaders, not followers?
100%. I think the greatest leaders, again, and this is where me and Keegan are so aligned, is, you know, if I look at, like, I've been asked this a lot as well, like, you know, I'm in shape now, I look no different to how I've looked really the last 10 to 15 years, but my reason for being in shape is totally different.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, you know, I look no different. If anything, I'm quite as buff with shoulders now because I run around a little bit more and stuff, but the reason for me being in shape now, I've got a picture on my Instagram that shows a distinct difference of 13 years apart, look very similar, is I love having to perform at my best so other people perform at their best. Yeah. I hold the standard, people look up to me, it makes them better, because if I don't, it's going to lower the people's standards, it's going to influence the people that people have invested in me for. My clients ultimately want to be better role models for their kids, demonstrate better health. So if they're investing in me, I'm going to lower my standards, it's going to influence them, which might impact their kids and habits and stuff like that. So it's the same driver, so superior mindset, you know, because I think if you're a great business owner, I've got a great mindset because I'm powerful in business, but I helpfully challenge you, if you're not nowhere near where you want to be physically, or you know you're capable of more, have you really got a superior mindset? Yeah. You've got a very good mindset, but I think great leaders and true high performers, they want to tick all the boxes. Don't need to be perfect. I'm not perfect. By all means, I fuck up every day, every week, as my lady and my friends will tell you, right? But I have a constant state of improvement mentality. Yeah. I think that's the difference with high performers.
That growth mindset.
100%, mate. It's growth. It's a fundamental need, right? I think it's a lot of business owners, because obviously we work with a lot of these, they generally, I'm a growth-minded individual. Okay, your business.
In one area.
What about the rest?
Yeah, yeah.
And I just think, you know, if you're truly trying to do great things, you know, you want to go the other, you know, hit all boxes. And then lastly, I suppose this is the biggest of the lot, really, Keegan. You know, and I know this is your big one is authentic purpose, like, is living with confidence. My big why. I love helping people get the best physical and mental shape of their life, and release from within unwavering confidence they never thought possible. Because why is living with confidence so important to me? People go, oh, confidence doesn't matter. It does.
100%.
It does. Because if you don't have the confidence you want, you'll get found out when it matters. Yeah. You'll doubt yourself. You'll care about what the people think.
Opportunities passing.
100%, because you won't have the belief to put one foot in front of the other. Go for that extra deal, or go for that extra promotion, or maybe...
Or even ask someone out on a date.
Exactly, took words out of my mouth, mate. Ask someone out on a date. Yeah. And I think the biggest fear in life, you know, and obviously, Keegan, you wait till, what was it, 27 till you come out. Yeah. It's funny, really, like, you know, because, I mean, this just purely on this podcast, got literally tickled thinking about this. I waited to 27 to take a risk. Yeah. 27, that's when I quit my job, men's health. So I suppose even just like maybe a joint message from me and Keegan here, Keegan waited till 27 to truly step into the person that he knew he was on this earth to be. Technically speaking, I was the same, because 27 was the first time in my life where I just burnt the fucking boat and went, you know what?
Went all in.
I went all in, exactly. Not nearly, not 80, 90%.
Yeah, not dip at all.
Exactly. And then just hold that back. I was prepared to fail in order to become the person that I knew I was capable of. So living with confidence for me is massive, because, you know, depending on how you look, fancy labels, how many kids, how perfect life look like on Instagram, all that matters most is, are you content with the conversation with yourself and no one else around? And it'll never be perfect, but at least if you're exploring it and the awareness, so that is for me what I'm massively passionate about.
Yeah, I always say, can you stand in front of a mirror? Yeah. Could you stand in front of a mirror for 10 minutes naked, and what would that conversation be like? Yeah. Would it be positive or not? Yeah. And if it would be positive, then fucking power to you. I'd say you're in a pretty good spot. Yeah. So I mean, like I'm sure everybody can tell how passionate you are about what you do and how you help people in the Built to Last program. What's the vision for you? Where do you want to be in a year's time, 5 years time? What's the goal?
My goal is, from a business perspective, mate, and I wouldn't even say business, mate, a mission. Yeah. Like, this is a mission to me. Right? Anyone investing in me, hopefully they'll resonate with this. It isn't to be known for dropping facts, and you know, my goal is for me and my team and that community to be the world's #1 brand community on the planet for high performers and business leaders, helping them get the best physical, mental shape of their life and unleash from within confidence if possible. But more importantly, just creating a culture where people who are business owners know they can be better across any aspect of mindset, performance, body, because I think they all work together.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean about being shredded. When they think of a brand and a community, and a group of people, it's me. I just want to leave it all on the table. And you know what? I just love helping people become they've always been capable of.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That is my mission from a business perspective, mate. And I truly believe all the numbers and all that shit will take care of itself if I'm that focused on helping more people with the help of the team now. Because ultimately, I know you're obviously building a great team inside PTIQ. You know, you can't do that by yourself. So I'm just really passionate now about building something special with great people who have the same obsession to help other people drive to another standard. You know, that's my goal. I want to be one of the world's greatest public speakers. You might guess I like talking. I'm not perfect, but that was another limiting belief as well, Keegan. One thing I do every morning might sound a bit weird, but I'm a bit weird sometimes. I think Keegan said between us we've got multiple personalities.
There's many personalities in
we
this
can
room.
go up and down. I can go from an extrovert to an introvert. I like being a loner, believe it or not. Even though I like to talk a lot, I'm actually, as Gabby will tell you, I actually like being a loner, being by myself sometimes. But I just want to leave a legacy, you know, and be one of I want to be a great public speaker, but to help other people. Yeah. Because ultimately, it makes me feel good if I can spread my message to thousands and millions of people, virtually in person. I just want to leave this earth knowing that I've helped transform and make as many people on this earth better. Yeah. And to do that, obviously, the public speaking aspect, so speaking lots now, which is great. But I believe now is the right times. I just believe I have a story which is relatable. I want to be one of the great, most relatable success stories on this planet for other people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then, I just want to, by doing that, you're going to help create the people who invest in you a better life, and the people within your team a better life. And I just want to be, hopefully one day like yourself, I want to be a great example as a parent. You know, because I believe if I'd have had a kid any earlier than sort of now, I know there's no perfect time for this, mate. You're a shining example of this, but I think I've just got more to give, and I think the beauty of mentorship, and I believe parenthood is mentorship, right? Yeah. Is
to the extreme.
Yeah, to the extreme. Yeah, but ultimately, as you said, you know, when you spoke on my podcast, it's you can help shortcut the process of where you want to be with great mentors and role models. Do you understand? Like, you know, if we look at me and Keegan, like penny dropped or started to drop at 27, didn't have it figured out, but started to drop. Both of us just feel so fucking passionate about don't wait any longer than what you need to or should do to sort of step into that new person. So I want to do that for sure, mate, and just leave it all on the table, mate. It's not like I didn't feel like I wasted time, but you know when you know, I definitely joined that 5-6 years as a plumber, where you're not on this earth to be a plumber. As part of you know, is making up for lost time. Even though that shaped who I am today, the coach and the person I am today, I just want to make sure that I maximise time. I want to be a great parent,
get the most out of life.
Yeah, 100%. I know I've got a lot to learn. You know, get wrong on a daily basis. You know, I know I want to obviously just master relationships as best I can. You know, friendships, and I just want every single person that's ever been coached by me, ever met me, or in any capacity, I leave them feeling better and with a new sense of belief than
when you found them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my mission, mate. I just want to leave an impression on everyone who fuck me that he made a difference with. Could have been a few words. If I've coached you, I want to make it made a difference. And you know, anyone who leaves my Built to Last program, it's not where they want to be. I've failed. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So.
I think that's a really. It's probably a really nice note to finish on. I think never underestimate whoever's listening to this podcast, watching it. Never, because you've impacted so many people who have then impacted other people.
The ripple effect.
It's the ripple effect. Middle of that, you know, that pond that kind of ripples out. Never underestimate the impact that you can have on somebody else's life. And if you are not at your best, if you are not in the best physical shape, mental shape, if you are not performing the best in your relationships at work, you are doing not only yourself a disservice, but people in and around you and your community and your family, your friends, because they want you at your best.
You can't, Keegan, you can't give what you don't have.
Yeah.
You can't give what you don't have. If you're trying to instill confidence in your kids, in your colleagues, in your partner, how can you give that if you don't have it.
Yeah, you can't pass on an empty cup, can
Right,
you?
it's like, you know, you can't love someone if you can't love yourself first.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
RuPaul said that. So.
Yeah, God, we're whipping out all these quotes today. But no, listen, but even that, you know, it's me, Keegan, I'm not being ignorant here. I'm not trying to say I'm some guru in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Success leaves clues, just like Keegan. I've had some phenomenal mentors from my football coaches, from every sort of fitness, gym, strength and conditioning specialist, you know, gyms, invested thousands, traveling, different mentors across health, fitness, mindset, life. You know, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. You know, we've all seen the famous quotes, but it's pointless absorbing these things if you're not going to implement them.
And it's not about perfection. I think that's a big thing.
Progress over perfection. We have it inside the community. Like, you know, one of the things, you know, like you said, Keegan, I believe I'm one of the most consistent on the planet when it comes to staying in shape. And I'm not perfect. Like you say, I drink, I eat relaxed food, but it's because I have a never off it mentality. I'm never off it. I'm consistently on it. Because a lot of people, they might have a great week, right? An inconsistent great week, though. What's the point in having one great week? It's going to be followed by 3 shit weeks. You know what I mean? It's, you know, so it's consistent progress, however small, beats inconsistent perfection. Because I'm sure you agree, Keys, like one of the biggest problems in global fat loss, in global weight management and health in general, is the all or nothing mentality. Right? People can't do it perfect; they don't do it at all. Right? Which is bollocks, really. Because imagine having that from a business mindset. You've got a business, you go, I'm not feeling perfect this week, so I'm not going to open up a business. Yeah. You'd never do it in any area. So I think one of the last things I'd like to say really is, if you are stuck right now with your body, health, fitness, level of confidence, mindset, is think of the areas of your life you truly value most, right, and why. And then ask yourself, if you are not where you want to be physically, mentally, or with your emotions, etc., how are the things you value most going to be affected if you don't improve your body, if you don't improve your health, if you don't improve your confidence? What is it affecting? What will it cost you in future years? And who else will it impact? Because I think, you know, a lot of people don't ask themselves the most powerful question, mate. And one of the most powerful things, if anyone's joined Built to Last, or anyone's thinking about joining Built to Last, or, you know, I'm sure Keegs asked the same question with PTIQ, is I always ask, when someone asks a goal, I'm not even really listening to that. I'm like, why? Because without the why, if you're not aware of the consequences, who's it for, how's it going to actually improve the quality of life, how improve the quality of other people's lives, and ultimately improve how you feel, so you're emotionally connected to the result. You'll never follow through. And I can guarantee this, if you follow Keegan's PTIQ system, you will change. It's impossible. Do you know what I mean? With the amount of work, obviously we've brainstormed, shared some stuff, we're just obsessed, and this is, you know, with growth-minded people, we've got great friends who are coaches, and we're like, how can we be better? How can we be better? Absolutely. And that's what great coaches do. And I'm the same, like, you know, you can't fucking fail if you do what we tell you to do, but you need a strong why. So get emotionally connected to what and who you value most on this planet, and then write, and I urge you to brain dump as many reasons as possible, but as many reasons why and how that would improve the quality of your life.
And do the work like that, what Kirst just said, I think is a really good note to end on, but you've got to, oh god, that's going to take me half an hour now. It will be the reward, the dividends that will pay out further down the line, because you've got that emotional connection. If you have ever been inconsistent, that is a reason why. That will get you that consistency. So
many percent of people like, you know, oh god, that's a bit heavy. People scroll on social media longer. They watch bullshit on Netflix longer. You know, this is about you. It's about you. So when we're watching. And I do that stuff too from time to time. We all need downtime. I love watching YouTube, just some random shit, mate. You know what I mean? But this is about you. So many people, when we're looking on socials or phone or taking phone calls, it's other people's agendas. Let's focus on our own agenda, because you'll then be able to give more. And ultimately, the number one metric, when it's all said and done, Keith, what we're trying to do, and any great coach is trying to do, or should be doing, is we're just trying to help you live happier and healthier.
Absolutely. You know? So where can people find you if they want to give you a follow?
Just Kirk Miller across all social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. You know, I do have the Kirk Miller podcast, of course, too. So if you want to listen to more of my big mouth, straight talking nonsense, then you know, look, just like Keegan, I'm an open book. The sole focus with this channel, obviously coming on the People's Podcast, is to add value and ultimately, you know, help you improve yourself in some way. So
Well, thank you for coming on, mate. As everybody I've already said, Kirk has been my coach. He's my friend. He's a mentor.
Friend, most importantly, honestly.
Yeah.
Friend, most importantly. You know, listen. It's sometimes we just need to lean on each other. And I know I picked up the phone to Keegan multiple times to help me go through tough times. And I suppose just my final thing is just surround yourself with good people.
Yeah, communities.
Yeah, massively.
Well, thank you for coming on, mate. Thank you for listening to the Hirst Locker, and I'll see you next week.